There's no such thing as having too many corners or anything like that. But when I look at the amount of draft capital that the 49ers do have, if you're telling me that I can add a really good corner, you can put Jalen Ramsey at corner and just say it's his job. He won't play it perfectly, but he's going to do a lot better than a rookie making rookie mistakes. Kind of an interesting new name has come into the fold for the 49ers to consider, and it's not a name that they would pick up in the draft, although maybe trading some draft capital to Miami would get it done. But Jalen Ramsey is apparently on the market here, Sammy. The Dolphins have basically said, yeah, we had a big plan. It didn't really work, and so now we're looking to get rid of that big plan. Jalen Ramsey, for a speck of the money that he would cost, because the Dolphins would have to eat an awful lot of that contract. He's not quite who he used to be, but he's still a very, very good player, a bona fide NFL starter at the age of 30. He'd be a big corner that would instantly replace Mooney Ward. Javarius Ward is no longer here. You keep Diamador Lenore in the slot where he's a natural at that position. 4th rounder for Jalen Ramsey. If I'm the 49ers, I make that phone call. Absolutely, I do.
You have to get on the phone. You have to make it an option. For Robert Saleh, I feel like you've got to do this, Damon. This takes a defense that was once formidable and feared and gives it a little bit of that back. Is Jalen Ramsey the player that he was? Is he definitely, is he essentially what he was when he was a Jaguar? Is he was even when he was a Ram? The Dolphins thing.
Every game, call you a list of wide receivers who he owns, that guy.
Look, we understand that. And by the way, this, of all the flames that burn hot and fast in the NFL, we always talk about running back, but cornerback is also one of those where, there was the comment this week by DaCosta from the Ravens who said cornerbacks are a lot like Bugattis. They break down. Cornerbacks, just think about Darrelle Revis, Richard Sherman, right? Revis Island. It goes quick where you're the guy and you matter more than anything. And then all of a sudden, by the way,
you're a cap casualty.
Cap casualty. There's someone faster. It's a position that you got to beware of what you're paying. So the fact that the Dolphins would pay some of that makes it really fascinating. I love it for that. I just hope it's not a reach in regards to what the guy's name is and what he's actually going to bring to the table for this 49ers defense. I love taking a look at it. What I didn't love is I saw at one point basically Trent Williams for Jalen Ramsey, which is kind of what you're looking at money-wise, maybe. That maybe you're right.
That is absurd. There is no trading Trent Williams. That is, to even put that on the table, like that would be the vehicle by which you would do this. That's insane. You're not trading Trent Williams for Jalen Ramsey, even if the Dolphins called and offered that. The Niners say no to that.
I don't think you can do that. It just feels it's short-sighted. And I understand there were games played without Trent Williams, but by the way, look at how those go. Trent Williams is one of those guys. It's hilarious. When I was working with Colin Cowherd, we constantly went back to this. It was the Carson Wentz with and without Lane Johnson, and it was just like fall off a cliff in regards to the Eagles' offense with and without. Those players, those positions, which to the layman is sort of just like, okay, whatever, the line's out there blocking, right? Like it's happening. No.
Right. Get someone else to do that.
No, these men are houses in there. You're taking a house off the cul-de-sac block when you take Trent Williams out. This is a big deal. That is going to represent more plays in a game, Trent Williams is, than Jalen Ramsey. Right? Just think about that, right? Every offensive play is running through Trent Williams, essentially. Every defensive play is not going to be predicated on Jalen Ramsey. And so it's just one of those where that's not the right cost. I don't think that's the right trade. But if you say unnamed 4th rounder, now
we can talk.
It feels like, okay, Jalen Ramsey, if he's available on draft day, right? If Jalen Ramsey just inserts himself if he declares himself eligible for the 2025 draft, he's going to get picked up before the 4th round.
Are you going to draft a player who's better to play, more ready to go and play corner for you on week 1 than Jalen Ramsey? Obviously not. Now you could be picking up a player who I believe would be, valuable down the road. There's no such thing as having too many corners or anything like that. But when I look at the amount of draft capital that the 49ers do have, if you're telling me that I can add a really good corner who I don't need to worry about. Like you can put Jalen Ramsey at corner and just say it's his job. He won't play it perfectly, but he's going to do a lot better than a rookie making rookie mistakes. So just do that for the 4th rounder if that's what it needs. 3rd rounder, I would even talk about a 3rd rounder for Jalen Ramsey. I really, really would if I were the 49ers. I think it's something that John Lynch absolutely has to explore. The other Dolphin that seemingly might be out there kind of due to his own mistakes is Tyreek Hill. It feels like the Dolphins kind of have reached the end of their patience with him to be a good citizen. He is the opposite of the person that the 49ers would want, but he's exactly the type of player that the 49ers need. I don't think that they would do a Tyreek Hill, but Jalen Ramsey is a phone call the 49ers deserve to have.
And this is what it comes down to. When you're looking at your team and you're considering these moves, again, remember, the owner's not calling you for any money. So that's always nice as a fan to just say, do it, right? It's like I'm not sitting here crunching the cap as a fan because that money's not coming out of my pocket. So it's like, do whatever it takes, get whoever you got to get. But it comes down to the conversation we had about the Bosa brothers. This is really a conversation about how long is Nick Bosa going to be the anchor of your defense. This is about capitalizing the time you have with Nick Bosa. I always go back to this. Mike Trout's career as a multiple MVP at the course of a decade playing with the Angels. How many playoff games did the Angels win with Mike Trout as a Hall of Fame MVP caliber? No argument, best player in the game for many of those years. Zero.
I don't know. Series, definitely 0.
It's also 0 for games. They got swept by the Royals in the one series he played in 2014. The only reason I bring that up is because you're talking about maximizing the time you have. When somebody is a comet in the world, when somebody is that special at that position, when you're talking about face of a defense, one of the faces of the defense in the NFL for a stretch of time, it's not going to last forever. The Raiders ask themselves, how long do we have with Max Crosby? Is this defense going to be special, anchored by Max Crosby? Same goes for Nick Bosa. The question is, are you surrounding Nick Bosa? And coming out of this free agency period, we know that there are so many questions about what the Niners are doing on defense. This plugs a hole in regards to what just happened in this offseason with free agency.
I might have had the single most unimaginative thumbnail of my career for today's show, where I just simply pick good players. Like, there you go. There, the NFL draft, we can take it apart. We can put it back together. We can deconstruct it. We can walk around the car 15 times before we actually decide to buy it or not. The bottom line is pick good players. You just need to have good players here. And, I think Jalen Ramsey comes as a good player. Is he a perfect player? The answer is no. He's a good player. Thanks for watching. Tune into the Damon Bruce Show live on YouTube every weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific.